What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Patreon page. I know it's been a little bit since I've posted, a few days, actually, and I told you guys I'd be doing a live stream last weekend. Well, we had a power outage on the day that I was supposed to do it, and that prevented me from doing that. So, I did get the chance to do some YouTube stuff last week and this week. This week was a little bit rough for me. I didn't get to review Greta and the new Madea movie, which kind of stinks. It's the first weekend all year I haven't been able to do that, but you know, with my job and YouTube and then trying to push stuff out on Patreon, and I have to be honest with you guys. Honesty time. Ready? I know I've not been the best Patreon user. I mean, there are definitely worse, because I've seen many people on Patreon post like one thing every 3 months and whatnot. I appreciate you guys being here, and I appreciate everyone who has been here and told me, Austin, I'm going to be on here for a month. I'm going to help you out a little bit, and then I may return later on one day, and that's amazing. Like, just the fact that I've had people on here just for 1 month is incredible. But for you all that are still here, first of all, what are you doing? I don't deserve this. Second of all, I'm going to try to make this a weekly ongoing show. I know I've promised you guys other videos, and those will definitely be coming, but this is, semi-simple to, mostly because I don't have to do a lot of editing. Just, sit back, relax, do a little bit of a podcast. I've been wanting to do a podcast for a while. I actually have an idea in the works for my YouTube page. I'm going to be calling that Flick Fan Nation. I'm calling this Flick Fan Nation, but this is Flick Fan Nation Patreon edition, episode 1, of course. And what we're going to do on this podcast, probably 1 or 2 times a week, what we're going to do is we're just going to talk about things going on in the movies right now. And this week, I'm going to be talking about just some things that have come up that I kind of want to hit on and that I won't be able to on my YouTube page. Next week, what I need you guys to do is get in the comments section of this specific video and give me topics for next week's show. And on next week's show, I will be going over those topics, whether it's something in the news or if there's just a movie that that I've seen. You follow me on Letterboxd and you say, Austin, why don't you don't have to do a review on it. Just talk about it on the podcast. Well, that's definitely what we're going to do. I'm going to run down just some movies that I've been watching this week that maybe we can hit on in this episode, or maybe I'll just skip past. We'll see how I'm feeling. I told you I missed Greta and Madea, which stinks. The new releases that I watched in the last few days have been The Boy Who Harnessed the Wind and The Hole in the Ground. Both of those were okay. The Boy Who Harnessed the Wind I actually thought was pretty good. I was very surprised with the direction from Chiwetel Ejiofor. He is an incredible actor, and I genuinely am interested to see where his career goes. The Hole in the Ground, I wanted more from the movie. It's an A24 film. And the only A24 film that I don't like is Slice. And this felt more in the vein of what Slice was, because Slice felt like a by-the-numbers spoof movie. It was definitely a bit out there, but it was more by the numbers than anything. The Hole in the Ground felt like more of a by-the-numbers horror film. Now, there's definitely craft within the film. I thought Lee Cronin did a good job of building up the atmosphere, and I like where his head's at in the directing game, but from a writing standpoint, I think the screenplay could have been a lot stronger, and overall, the movie just disappointed me. I think it's okay. I gave it a 3 out of 5, but it disappointed me. Other movies I've been watching, I actually just finished Blade Runner 2049 before I came back home. I rewatched A Star is Born, rewatched Incredibles 2 last night with my family. Some really good movies on Netflix, guys. And Blade Runner's not on Netflix. So here's a fun fact. Our friends have a Vudu page, and on Vudu you can rent movies or you can buy movies for a set price. And my friend's family is, I'm just going to be honest, they're super rich. So they have like 700 movies that they paid $10 for. And I'm sitting back going, okay, this is fantastic. And they buy like a movie a week. Some movies that they buy, they're not the best. And then other movies, I'm like, why didn't you buy Into the Spider-Verse yet? Why have you not bought a movie like A Star is Born? They haven't bought that film. We had to rent it. But I use their Vudu page all the time because that was my friend's birthday gift to me. She said, here's the password and the information. Her parents were like, okay. So that's what I use to watch a lot of films that I love, such as La La Land and Blade Runner, and watched, what did I watch the other day that I really enjoyed for the second time? Black Klansman. They bought Black Klansman. I'm just like, okay, good. Don't have to buy it or rent it. That's fantastic. But I think Vudu is a really good site to rewatch films. So I've been rewatching movies this week. It was nice to go home, visit the family. That every time I go home, my dad, he understands the passion that I have for film. So that's our thing now. I go home, I watch a basketball game with him. He watches a movie with me. I enjoy that. He enjoys that. It's really a good way for us to bond, and that's one of the beautiful things that I find about filmmaking and movies in general, especially blockbusters. It's a great way to bond and just hang out with your friends and your family, and that's what I do every time I go. Well, I say home. This is home where I'm at right now, but every time I go to visit my parents and my brother, usually, who is home from college on the weekend. But that was really fun. So right now, I want to get into something that's happening in the movie space and something I'm seeing. And I'm sure you've seen my thoughts on Twitter if you follow me on there. It's the Captain Marvel thing and the Rotten Tomatoes fiasco. And I see all of this happening, and I see some people's standpoints on how Brie Larson has been handling the entire situation of inclusion. And, there should be more women directors and more women writers and more women actors. And I agree with that. I'm with her, but there are some things that she said, and I see people who are upset about what she said, and I get it, because it's, we have to make sure that we have half females and half males, and we have to make sure that it's all women coming in. She could have phrased it a bit better. The half females, half males thing, here's my standpoint. I say hire the best person for the job. That's how I have always felt. And if that's a woman, yes. If that's a man, yes. If that's a black man, a white man, a Mexican man, whatever it is, hire the best person for the job. I am all about inclusion if it is the right man or woman. So there's my standpoint on that topic. But this whole Rotten Tomatoes thing, it has just bothered me how people are going, and it's bothered me for years. And even you look at a film like The Dark Knight. You look at that IMDb page. It is one of the highest rated movies on IMDb. Well, a lot of people don't know that, I think it was about 4 or 5 years ago, a ton of people got together and said, listen, The Dark Knight is amazing, which it is, but it's not one of the highest. It was in like the top 50, I believe, or the top 25 at that time. We have to make this the number one movie. So let's go downvote The Godfather and upvote The Dark Knight, a.k.a. give The Godfather 1 star, give The Dark Knight 5 stars. And I find that kind of behavior atrocious and ridiculous. And I love The Dark Knight. Thankfully, IMDb saw that, and they said, nope. They got a spike in ratings for those two movies. And as far as I know, they tried to prevent that. They probably didn't prevent all of it. But it's still, it pains me to see that. And that's a movie that I love. But it's not fair to go and downvote another film just to upvote another film. And even if you have seen it, that's great. But if you have not seen The Dark Knight and you're giving it a 5 out of 5, what are you doing? What is wrong with you? And it's the same thing for Captain Marvel. If you've not seen Captain Marvel, you are not allowed to go on Rotten Tomatoes and give it half a star or 1 star. It's not fair to the movie. And if you have a problem with Brie Larson, go bother Brie Larson. I mean, I hate to say that, but why are you attacking the film that she's in? That's like going back and giving every single Kevin Spacey movie 1 or half a star. Now, that's more of a deserving cause than what's going on with Brie Larson, because as far as I know, he's a messed up / atrocious human being. That's neither confirmed or denied. Just as far as I know, what I've seen using my eyes and my brain. But the Brie Larson situation is, it's kind of atrocious how people are treating this film. Regardless of what you think about what she said, like or dislike, to attack the film that a lot of people have worked on, not just her. Whether it's the people behind the scenes, the people in front of the camera, the actors, the actresses, the editors, the cinematographer, the directors. I mean, there are a lot of people involved with this film, and to see it kind of get burned down before it even releases. And to the people that are saying it's going to bomb at the box office, it may bomb with the audience score on Rotten Tomatoes, because I feel like these people are going to dislike this movie or give it 1 out of 5 stars, regardless of what they think of the film. Most of them probably aren't even going to go see it that do that. But for the ones who see it, I think it's going to make a lot of money. I don't see it bombing. I see a 110, 120 plus opening weekend for this film. There's too much at stake in the MCU right now. You have Avengers Infinity War that dropped and blew everyone's mind. You have people who did not see Avengers Infinity War, and then it came on Netflix, and that's a brand new audience. The older generation that have Netflix, or that use their kids' Netflix, the younger generation that say, I don't care about Marvel movies, and they're out there. You may not like the Marvel films if you've seen them, and that's fine. But to say, I don't care about the Marvel movies, you got to make up your mind once you see the movie. That's my standpoint, and there are many people who do not feel that way, or as strongly as I do about the MCU. There are people who don't like it just because they haven't seen it, and they think it's dumb, and they think it's nerdy and geeky. I mean, those are people that they're living in 10 years ago because, the mindset now, today, is comic books and comic book movies are cool. And I love that mindset. I think we should keep that and continue to feel that way and think that way. And I don't love every comic book movie, but I love the fact that we're living in an age that accepts it as something that is more mainstream than it ever has been. So, to kind of get back to the point, I think the Captain Marvel stuff is ridiculous. I'm glad Rotten Tomatoes is, they're attempting. I don't know what it's going to do. I don't even think it's going to stop the people from downvoting it. But at least they have the chance to see the film now. And that's more than they've ever had. So that's good. Now, speaking of comic book movies, there is a film that is coming out in June. And first of all, we should already have this movie. I don't know why on God's green earth they decided to move this to one of the busiest months of the year in terms of movies. X-Men Dark Phoenix is going to bomb at the box office. Bomb. Bomb, bomb, bomb. I mean, I do not see this film beating Apocalypse's numbers. I definitely don't see it beating Days of Future Past's numbers. Now, I do see it making a little bit more money than about a week ago because this new trailer came out. And as much as I think it's ridiculous putting the entire... do I want to spoil it? If you guys haven't seen the trailer. If you haven't seen the trailer, pause this, watch the trailer, come back, 3, 2, 1... Jennifer Lawrence is dead. Mystique is donezo in that film. Absolutely donezo. And the fact that they spoiled that, it bothers me. It really does. But if you look at it from a marketing standpoint, I see why they did it. Because if you're a huge Jennifer Lawrence fan, and they are out there, I like Jennifer Lawrence quite a bit, you're going to tune in to see her, quote-unquote, last superhero film. And from a marketing standpoint, that's good. I don't think I would have, if I was in charge of it, I would not have been putting that in the trailer. But I still think it's smart from a marketing standpoint. So in general, I think it's going to be a so-so box office film. In terms of what they wanted it to do when they were first making the movie, I think it's going to bomb. In terms of what some people are saying, I think it's going to be okay. But, what's this? Okay, guys, hold on. Hang up. Let's go. Scooby-Doo. I just got this notification. Scooby-Doo big screen animated movie just got a cast. I am so excited for this. So let's read this. The Hollywood Reporter has learned that Warner Brothers' upcoming animated Scooby-Doo feature, which will be the first theatrically released Scooby-Doo, blah, blah, blah. Let's get to the cast. Okay. So the veteran. Oh, come on, baby. Let's go. Frank Welker will be voicing Scooby-Doo. Will Forte will be Shaggy. What? No, I don't know if I like Will Forte being Shaggy because our boy, what's his name from Without a Paddle, the guy who played Shaggy in Scooby-Doo, I think he's just the perfect Shaggy. I get that you want to bring a more rounded cast, but, All right, so Gina Rodriguez will be Velma. That is interesting. And Tracy Morgan will be playing Captain Caveman. That's interesting. So I'm assuming that's the villain. According to the report, the story will see the Mystery Inc. gang join forces with other heroes, of the Hanna-Barbera universe to save the world from Dick Dastardly and his latest evil plot. Very cool. Yeah. Okay, I'm on board with this. Didn't know there was a Scooby-Doo movie coming out. But I was just thinking the other day, when's the last time we saw a really good the old animation style, from Looney Tunes to Scooby-Doo to the Flintstones to the Jetsons. I mean, those weren't things that were going on during my childhood, but those were things that I grew up with. You look at a network like Boomerang. Oh, I loved Boomerang growing up. I loved all of the old classic TV shows. And yes, I had my Nickelodeons and Cartoon Networks and Disney channels, but gosh, Boomerang was great. And the live-action Flintstones was a miss. Never attempted a live-action Jetsons. I think Space Jam's pretty good for what it was going for. I loved it as a kid. Going back and watching it now, I still really enjoy it. Nostalgia factor. And I even have nostalgia for the first two Scooby-Doo movies. Now, I know they're both utterly ridiculous. And if I'm judging them as a film, I cannot give them high scores. But I loved those movies as a kid because, what was it, 2004 was the second one? I was 9 years old. I was the prime age to take in a movie like that, and I just loved it. I even liked the Cat in the Hat movie as a kid with Mike Myers. Now, that's pretty atrocious. I'm going to be honest with you. Watching it now, I'm like, okay, that's one of those, liked as a kid, that's a bad movie. But the first two Scooby-Doos, even watching them now, I'm like, there are some things in here. I feel like the directors and producers knew exactly what they were going for. Good Lord, I am so off topic with this Scooby-Doo news. All right, back to superheroes. So yeah, X-Men Dark Phoenix, box office bomb. I'm also not looking forward to the film. I thought the trailer was fine. I didn't hate it, but I have no anticipation. And it might be the fact that I know the universe is going nowhere, and that stinks. And I loved Days of Future Past, and I loved the first two X-Men movies, and I liked First Class a lot. But you just know this is it for this franchise, and there's just no anticipation there for me. I'm going to watch it. I'm going to put all of this to the side going in to see the movie. But from what I've heard on Twitter, people saying it's Fantastic Four level bad. I don't know if I want to believe that. I think that may just be people with a bad concept of what the film is going to be just because it's the final Fox Marvel film. But we'll see. We'll just have to see how it goes. A lot of superhero news this week, guys, and I'm a big movie fan. I'm a movie guy. I love artistic films. But when we're talking about superheroes and what that means, it's really important to me that I hit on these aspects. Now, the Armie Hammer news, and this is about a week old, but I wanted to hit on it as Batman. False reporting is killing me. I know this website ran it as close to a fact as you possibly could have, and that really stinks from a standpoint of someone who wants to be in that industry and wants to be a part of the entertainment world. But let's look at Armie Hammer as Batman. I think it's good casting. I do. I think it's good. I don't think he's going to be Batman. I think no one believes that now that they've confirmed that to be a false report. But I'm of the mindset that Armie Hammer would make a better Superman than Batman. I really do. I see him in a movie like The Social Network, and just his mannerisms, his calmness, the way he interacts with himself, a.k.a. his twin brother in that movie, it really strikes me more as Superman than Batman. And then in a movie like Call Me By Your Name, just his voice, the presence, the deep, manly inflection that Henry Cavill had, I feel as if Armie Hammer has that. And it would work for Batman. It really would. But I think it works even more for Superman. So if you're going to cast Armie Hammer, DC Universe, cast him as Superman. In terms of Batman, I like the Robert Pattinson rumor quite a bit, actually. Unless you have seen him in a movie like Good Time and a movie like The Lost City of Z, I understand your thoughts and feelings on why he may not be a good Batman, because the Twilight films are horrible. I apologize if you like those movies, I really do. But I'm just not a Twilight guy. Never been a Twilight guy. Robert Pattinson, though, the fact that he can overcome that obstacle as an actor and allow people to look at him now and say, you know what, that guy could do it. He could be Batman. I like that. I don't think he will get cast in the role, but I would be okay. Another person is Taron Egerton. He is a really good up-and-coming actor, and a lot of people see him as Robin. He is 2 years younger than when Christian Bale was in Batman Begins. And I heard Matt Reeves was looking for a young Batman. He's only 30 years old, guys. I mean, he is 30 years old, guys. A lot of people are saying he's only like 25, 26. He's got to be Robin, right? No, this This guy's almost Christian Bale's age. And he would be the youngest Batman to date. And I think that's what Matt Reeves is looking for. So, may not have the jawline for it. I think the jawline is something that we're looking for. It's something that more of an actor like Richard Madden has, because that guy, from Game of Thrones to Bodyguard, I think that guy could pull it off. And he has the looks, and he has the jawline. I feel a Bruce Wayne essence. We have to see him do an American accent. I've not seen that yet, but I feel a Bruce Wayne essence when I look at him. So let me know in the comments down below your thoughts on all of these things. I know this was a short, I intended to go a bit longer, but I don't want to overstay my welcome. I don't want to talk your guys' ears off. Let me know in the comments down below. Who's your choice for Batman? Who's your choice for Superman? What are your thoughts on the Captain Marvel debacle? Are you excited for X-Men Dark Phoenix? I apologize for the Scooby-Doo news, but that just dropped on my phone. Do you want to see a Scooby-Doo movie? And let me know some things you want me to talk about next week. It can be within the last month. I'll talk about it. I need some topics from you guys. I appreciate you guys listening and watching, as always. And just, as always, supporting me on Patreon, whether you're here for a short period of time, a long period of time. If you're here with me until the end, I hate to say it like that. Good Lord. It's morbid. I appreciate that. And I'm just happy I could do a little bit of a podcast for you guys. It's something I've been wanting to try. FlickFan Nation is what I'm calling the show on YouTube. Gotta wait till all this stuff works out with my co-host. He's in the process of moving, and it's going to be a little bit before that goes up on YouTube. But for right now, this can be a Patreon exclusive, and I like it that way. Thank you guys so much for listening, and I'll catch you later.